my responsibility or your responsibility or anyone else who has information that shows violations of the law. Should we not report that? And as the sheriff, should he not be answering to it? And when you're the sheriff, the most important thing you can do is uphold the law and be within the law yourself.
That is the former Lee County Sheriff Rod Shope calling out the current appointed sheriff, Carmine Marcino, for not answering a simple question. Four in Your Corner first asked him over the summer. It's about his qualifications to work as a law enforcement officer in Florida.
Well, tonight I've uncovered new information from Marcino's application to the Collier County Sheriff's Office. Back then, employment screeners recommended, quote, automatic disqualification from consideration because Marcino admitted to brief steroid use. Fox 4 was the only news station to investigate the sheriff's qualifications. I'll have more on that new revelation tonight at 10. Meanwhile, former deputies are coming forward with their concerns about the person holding one of the most powerful positions in Lee County. A former Lee County sheriff, major, and lieutenant, all with a common call for action. What should Carmine do?
Resign. There's enough smoke that where there's that much smoke, there's also fire. I would recommend that he resign.
Enough smoke that now the Ethics Commission has recently opened an investigation into allegations the appointed sheriff has abused his power to meet women. While Marcino shows no signs of resigning, Shope tells me that since our original report, Marcino hired a lawyer. I did confirm that he hired an employment attorney out of Tallahassee. I called that lawyer, but he said he wasn't allowed to comment since this is an open investigation. There is also now a separate criminal investigation into Marcino from the state's top policing agency, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, looking into whether Marcino met the qualifications to sit for his Florida law enforcement exam. In other words, was he ever eligible to work in law enforcement in this state?
Carmine.
Retired Major Carmen McKinney has plenty of experience with these claims from his time working in internal affairs at the Lee County Sheriff's Office.
This is conduct that I investigated for many years, and we held those people accountable for that conduct. And those people were terminated for the very behavior that Mr. Marcino was displaying.
Even if he passed the test? The state certification test?
Wouldn't matter. The Form 76, the EOT training form, it was fraudulent.
Don't you think the people of Southwest Florida...
As Fox 4 first reported in July of this year, the equivalency of training form allows out-of-state officers who have worked full-time for at least 1 year to bypass almost 800 hours of police academy when they come to the Sunshine State. Our research showed Marcino's experience in Suffolk County, New York, did not meet those requirements, but he was allowed to sit for his exam anyway.
You have to wonder, are there any more Carmine Marcinos in the state of Florida with inappropriate forms and shouldn't be certified? Even when I was the sheriff, I had one where that had happened, and we found it through a set of circumstances that were special, and of course I terminated him right away. And then the state also removed his credentials.
We obtained documents of that officer who was let go under Shope's tenure. FDLE found him to falsify documents in order to skip the EOT. The Criminal Justice Standards and Training Commission recommended disciplinary action based on several allegations, including, quote, respondent has failed to maintain qualifications established in Florida statutes, which require that a law enforcement officer in the state of Florida have good moral character. Dr. Lee Bouchon, former Lee County lieutenant who ran for sheriff, also laid out in a 94-page document addressed to state leaders, including the governor, as well as the public, the holes in the process by which Marcino landed his first law enforcement position. Bouchon includes a timeline of his career and a list of the statutes being violated. He told me he walked it over to the governor's office, as well as the attorney general. The attorney general's office says they forwarded this complaint to FDLE. The governor has yet to respond to any requests for a comment. Reached out to the governor's office several times. The now professor at Florida A&M University points out, quote, a lifetime total of about 1,200 hours total experience as a law enforcement officer, far less than a year's worth of full-time experience.
Were you a Suffolk County, full-time Suffolk County Parks and Recreation Ranger?
Sir, I'm here for the Veterans Parade. I'm sorry if you could step aside, but thank you.
Can you grant us an interview, a formal interview? I understand that. Just,
All right, sir, we gotta start the parade.
we've asked him a quick question. We've asked for a request.
We've asked the sheriff's office multiple times for an interview. Our news director asked their public information officer. So did our assignment manager. Our chief photographer tried asking him in person on a separate occasion. That's in addition to our own investigative team, including myself.
Put yourself in the place of the citizens home watching your newscast, and they see him not only refusing to answer, but literally running from a camera. How easy is this answer?
I later approached the sheriff to see if he had a response after our report. Jane Monreal from Fox 4 News. Can we talk?
Actually, I'm in the governor's thing, but another time for sure.
For sure?
Yeah.
Who can we confirm that with?
My PIO, thank you.
So I did, or tried to, through email and on the phone. Good afternoon. My name is Jane Monreal, calling from Fox 4 News. The sheriff or his staff have yet to respond.
Said that these allegations were already proven false in the past, and that anyone who comes up against him is saying the things they say because of political motivations.
As far as being political, I have no political agenda. I'm not supporting anybody. I'm not a political type person, but I will say this, that if this goes unchallenged, I will leave that option open.
Well, FDLE has investigated several cases involving other law enforcement officers around the state falsifying documents as part of their application. And many of these state agencies ended up terminating those people. We've put several case studies on our website, fox4now.com, and we also included all the documents used in this story, as well as a link to our initial investigation that ran over the summer.
And we should also say, while both investigations are open right now, it's really important to note that since FDLE's investigation is actually classified as a criminal one because it stems from alleged fraud, Marcino can technically invoke the Fifth Amendment and decline to be interviewed to avoid self-incrimination. Now, 4 in Your Corner is going to stay on top of these two separate investigations going now into the sheriff to see what this means for Lee County and what it means for you in the coming months. But in the meantime, Jane, we do take our time with our investigations, both in laying them out so people can make their own decisions. But you found some other information that we can also lay out here. We can't throw it all into one story just because it's so much. But
Exactly.
You've got more.
Yeah, we just found this out in the past day. I've spent all day digging into more documents that I mentioned at the top of the newscast. We now know about admissions of illegal drug use, as well as a problem in the polygraph that Sheriff Marcino took early in his career applying for Collier County Sheriff's Office. So I'll have that all laid out for you tonight at 10.
All right, in the meantime.